what is up?
Hey man, how's it going?
It's good. Are you doing any packing?
Not right now. I'm doing the podcast.
Oh, okay. I mean, previously, because you're getting ready to move.
Been packing. Yeah, man. I'll be Tennessee bound in 8 days. First leg of the trip starts May 1st.
Wow, that is exciting.
It is. It's going to be kind of a two-part trip, but I think that's the easiest way to go about it, with taking the dogs, Hayden and Allie, down in a very minimal trip with the cars, and then I'll come back that following weekend and U-Haul the rest back.
Okay, well, what I want to know is, when does open water swimming training starting?
Yeah, one of our guests that we're about to have on has already asked me that. It's probably going to take me a couple days to get settled in, but as you know, I literally I've only swam once since Wisconsin last year, so that's 8 months. Yeah. So I'm definitely looking forward to getting back in the water, and hopefully within the first week.
So this is about the time I should challenge you to a duel.
I'll still beat you.
All right. I'm sure you will. All right. So on to the podcast. We have Blake Ogle is back. He recorded earlier with us about cycling, but now he's gotten into a whole new animal. We have Jack McAfee, who was the Ironman Florida winner last year. Is that correct? Yes. And the ringer. They have a special ringer on the side. How you guys doing?
Doing good. How are you guys?
Great.
Good. I want to start out with Blake, if that's cool. We got you on the one of our first podcasts, and you were talking a lot about cycling, but then you just flipped the shark, or however you say that, and now all you do is swim. Is that right? What's going on with that?
It's called jumping the shark, Mike. Flipping the shark.
I'm a little bit Yogi Berra. I'm like the Yogi Berra of the Triathlon podcast. Blake, what's getting into you, man?
Just chasing some new goals, I guess. So we've got a little swim group here in Knoxville that we started last year. Had some fun with it, and now we're starting some new things with it.
But yeah, I mean, it'd be fair to say you're obsessed with swimming right now, correct?
I would say it's the only thing that I do. So,
yeah.
That's about it. And there's something big brewing over there in Knoxville as far as swimming goes, and open water swimming.
Yeah, so are we doing the reveal now?
Oh, no, I don't know.
You're going to edit this, right?
I'm going to have to edit it now.
Yeah, you're going to have to edit it. It's kind of looking like, what the hell?
All right, Robbie, go ahead.
So, Blake, you were on our last podcast, or your first one, and you were all about cycling. When was the last time you actually rode your bike?
The last time I rode my bike...
Wait. Let me rephrase that. Do you even own a bike?
Yes, I still have my bikes.
Okay.
Do I ride them? The answer is no. Maybe February.
Why is that?
After you get finished with an Ironman, I just felt like I needed to do something different for a little while. So just took a break and moved into swimming with my swim group here in Knoxville. So,
and what's that swim group called?
We are called the Knoxville Open Water Swimmers. And that's abbreviated cows. So we are the cows. Yes.
Oh, with a K, I get that. That's cute.
Yeah. Well, there's Chattanooga Open Water Swimmers with a C, so the C cows. So we're the K cows.
Wow.
Oh, that's maybe when I move back, we can have the NAWs.
Yeah, go for it.
The Nash, yeah. Or I don't want to say the nows, because they already have like a 35 CDs every year that come out with that. So you're in the midst of with Jack and the Ringer putting together some kind of event, and you've been working on it for how long? And how did this all kind of start?
Well, it started as last year. We have a swim group that meets on Thursday nights downtown in the river, Knoxville, Tennessee. If you're around, come check us out. 5:30 on Thursdays. We usually swim about a mile and a half in the river downtown. And we were looking for just some longer swim routes to do. All of us were training for Ironman events. So that's how it kind of got kicked off. And then we had some friends in Chattanooga that do Swim the Suck. And their portion of the river last year was pretty warm. So they wanted to come up. Our river is typically colder than it is down there. So they came up, and we had this idea route for a longer swim that wound up being a 10K route. And we got together some friends last year, tried it out, and had a blast. So this year we decided to make it an actual race. So the race is going to be held on September 17th. It's called the Bridges to Bluffs Open Water Swim. It's a 10K. It'll be a 10K downstream swim, and also a relay that's split up between two people that will do the 10K portion total.
So 10K. Now, that did you guys watch the Olympic 10K from last year by chance?
Yes, I was actually there.
You were there?
Yeah, on the beach. Not a great front row seat because they were a quarter mile off the beach, but it was quite an event to see.
Oh my God, Robbie, did you happen to catch that?
Catch it like watching online, or catch Jack actually saying it?
Yeah, watch it online. I watched it the other night.
Yeah, no, I watched the men's and the women's, live on the little NBC Sports thing, and it's one of my. I try to watch as many of them as I can. It's actually one of my favorite things to watch, like from a coverage standpoint. I think it's fascinating to watch, like their tactics and everything. I think it's pretty cool.
Dude, that thing, it was a photo finish.
They usually are like fairly close as like who slaps the finished tape or whatever. Almost every time. You kind of be surprised because it's actually open water swimming is a lot like cycling in that they'll swim with a group because they want to they don't want to go off on their own because you do draft a lot and the dynamics are a lot like cycling. And then towards the end, you just kind of pick your spot and see who has the last little bit of juice left. But yeah, it's definitely a lot like cycling in that aspect.
Yeah, because that one guy was leading by about almost a minute with 2.5K to go, and he just got swallowed.
Yeah,
like the Peloton.
The strategy, just jumping out and went all in, and wanted to see how long he could hang on, but didn't exactly work out for him in the end.
So first off, how was that whole Olympic experience? Not that this is what the podcast is about, but how was that Olympic experience for you, Jack?
Just very interesting. All the negativity that Rio got. I mean, where I was is a very touristy area, so didn't see any of that. I thought it was a pretty good experience for the most part. The security was obviously ramped way up, and felt safe the whole time, and all the venues were incredible. So I wish I could say the same now because it's
right. It's a dumpster dive now. It's all like gone to waste.
Yeah, but at the time, those 2 weeks, it was phenomenal.
What was your favorite event to watch?
I enjoyed some of the track and field and open water swimming. You could just about get tickets to anything, and kind of did some weightlifting. That was pretty interesting.
So, in looking at some of your swim times, have you been kind of thinking that maybe you want to go back there and do that?
No.
Come on, man.
No, not at all. As an Ironman swimmer, I think I'm just different level from the true swimmers. I don't even compare to those guys. So,
all right.
So in terms of, do any of you, the three of you, have any experience up to this point in putting on an event like this?
No, none of us do. Swimming in them.
But no like real like actual like race management or putting on a race experience.
Not at all.
Oh, so how has this process been? Like, I mean, I know that from everything I've heard, it's extremely stressful. It's a lot of hurry up and wait, and you're very, very dependent on so many different people when it comes to licenses and permits and making sure something is sanctioned.
What's the biggest pain in the ass?
Blake.
Blake? Here.
Oh, you meant the race.
Yeah, the race.
All of us have different strengths, so it's been pretty interesting to see who's taken on what. Blake is obviously the talker in the group. He's got a lot of connections around town, so he's done a lot of the sponsorship. Jack knows a lot about the, I guess, sanctioning and such, since he's done a couple of these races, just one or two. He's somewhat experienced. And then I'm doing a lot more of the artwork and Facebook, T-shirts, kind of the creative side of things. So everybody has something to offer, and it's kind of been nice. We all kind of play off of each other well. There's always two of us siding against the other one, which has been pretty funny too throughout this planning.
Have you guys thought about quitting?
Many times.
I figured.
Blake,
every day.
Blake, is Tomato Head a sponsor?
No.
Oh, okay. You can go tell them you know me. They're big fans of mine from the Rev 3 days.
Yeah, Mike has these like illusions of grandeur from his Rev 3 podium like 4 years ago, and he's well known in the inner Knoxville circle for that victory. And he has a I think back then they gave you what, like a box of power bars?
Yes,
for your podium. Yeah,
that I have framed on the wall.
He would routinely, and you have them on the wall. He would routinely throw that in our face on long rides when we'd stop after like 3 hours and grab a little snack. He'd be like, "Yeah, isn't it isn't it too bad you guys actually had to pay for those power bars? I get mine for free." So give us the date of the race, give us something, because I know Blake. I mean, I honestly feel like I've been part of this process with you guys since I've heard so much about it, except for all the headaches. Tell us, it seems incredibly unique from a lot of different perspectives. So this is a great chance to talk it up.
All right. Well, the race date is set for September 17th, which is the UT Florida weekend. But however, that game's in Florida, so that makes Knoxville wide open. You also mentioned Rev 3, which, that's no longer in Knoxville now. So this is the only event that's taking place in downtown. And that had a really good swim portion of it that everybody liked. And that's kind of how our swim group started up, was right before doing some preview swims for that. So Michael will have to come back and race and maybe win something to carry that over. But it's has a unique start. Our swim dock that we start from is right next to the Star of Knoxville riverboat. And it takes off usually when we are about halfway through our swim, and they blow the horn and everybody would wave. And at first we were kind of worried about it, and then it became a novelty thing. And then as the season went on, we were starting to hear some positive feedback from it from people that would actually see the swimmers downtown. So we became very persistent and just decided that, hey, how cool would it be to jump off the riverboat? So we set that in motion and met with the captain of the riverboat. He loved the idea, took it to the owners, and next thing you know, we're jumping off the boat. So
dang,
yeah,
it's like the redneck Alcatraz.
Yeah, for a swim race, it's the only swim race in the country where that will happen. Board the boat, everybody will load up, blow the horn, and jump off, and down the river you go.
And how many people?
Well, around 100 or so. The boat's capacity limits how many that we can have. So we're going to just kind of, when we open up registration, just let it go until it fills up through there. So we don't have a set number for how many we'll have in the relay or how many that we'll have doing the 10K. So it'll be first come, first serve until the boat's filled.
So you're going to sell out at 100, is that right?
100-ish. So
okay. Anything else you want to say about that? I have one thing I want to ask you guys since we're on the subject of open water swimming.
Yeah, say about the race on there, where we have the 10K solo swim that will follow traditional open water swimming rules. We're doing something unique with this swim where we'll allow wetsuits in with the relay, and it's a really good swim, and it's scheduled for the time of year that fits well for Ironman Chattanooga and Ironman Louisville swims. So the idea would be for people who are wanting a long distance swim to get in before those races to partner up and wear your wetsuits if you want. One relay team member will swim the first 5K, then they'll swap out with their kayaks, and second member will jump in and finish the race. So it's a good time to come out and have some fun, see a beautiful course, and either get in a good long swim as part of your Ironman training, or to actually set up and accomplish a pretty good goal of accomplishing a 10K swim.
That's pretty cool. So the open water rules, that means like no wetsuit on the long 10K.
Exactly. You can't wear a wetsuit. You can't wear a bathing suit or costume, as the English Channel rules call it, below the knee or below the shoulders. You can't touch another swimmer. You can't hold on to your boat. You can't use anything that gives you any type of forward progress or advantage over someone else.
Okay. But you can sip hot tea from your support vehicle?
You can have crumpets.
You can have crumpets. You can sip whatever you want. We don't care.
All right. So I was just on this because the other night I watched this little documentary on YouTube called Crossing Hell's Mouth. Have you ever seen it?
No. We're all shaking our heads no.
You should check it out. It's this guy. I won't tell you what happened, but he wanted to swim some crazy water top of Scotland, around Scotland. Like, it's supposed to be the roughest water in the world, or some of the roughest water in the world. And, of course, it's, probably silly 40 degrees. I don't know. But it was about his dream to do that. It's on YouTube. It's free. It's called Crossing Hell's Mouth. And I think you guys would dig it. I mean, it's not the most exciting thing unless you're really into swimming like that. But I thought I would throw that out. But nobody's seen it, so we can't talk about it.
Nope. Fail.
Fail.
So for each of you, what aspect of the race or in the upcoming months are you looking forward to the most?
I guess seeing our hard work pay off and how many people register. Once we start getting people registered, then I kind of come into play with T-shirts and caps and awards. So I'll get to start ramping things up. These two have had a pretty big hand so far in getting the planning set up, and I've just been here for moral support and comic relief.
How much is this thing?
So the price if you pay for the 10K swim, with your fees, would be $123.15. You have to have a 1-day U.S. Masters license if you're not a Masters swimmer, so that would add an additional fee. For the 10K relay, it's $96 each, so $116 if you have to purchase the license. So it's pretty cheap, pretty affordable for what you're getting at the cost.
Super affordable.
Yeah, I'm really over here debating.
Debating?
Depends on what I do,
Yeah, you're only signed up for one race so far this year, so it's going to take you a little bit.
Yeah, it's a wide open canvas.
So, how did the three of you actually know each other? How'd you guys all become friends?
Well, I met Jesse at a turbo spin. We were spinning on the trainer indoors.
I beat him.
No, she didn't. And geez, Blake, how did we meet? At one of the swims or something like that? Where you kind of met to set up the swim, actually, at the beginning of last year. So we wanted to start up an open water swim group. We just met up cold turkey and just been swimming ever since.
That's awesome. So you say you have about 40 people in the cows with the K?
Probably have about 10 people that show up every week, and then 100 on the Facebook group that come in randomly, or they'll do a swim or suggest a swim at the quarry, like that. So it's a variety of people that show up every week.
Tell me a little bit about that variety. Is it mostly triathlete? Is it mostly triathletes?
For the hardcore swimmers, but they like to stay in a pool. So it's mostly the triathletes. Got kayakers. They're part of the group. They keep us safe out there on the water. And then there's just a bunch of people that are relatively new to swimming. Like Blake's wanting to get the long distance swimming under his belt, and so he's just taking it full on. So same with Jesse, both of them.
What's the water temperature right now in the river over there?
Let's see. We went yesterday, Blake. What was it? High 60s, low 70s?
Yeah.
Blake wishes he had.
It's close to perfect, actually. Yeah. So, how do you feel like people have received you guys starting this club, and how do you guys foresee the community rallying or finding this event attractive enough to actually register for and do?
We've had a lot of support, actually. It was really cool when we started up the group. It was just two of us, and then a couple people showed up, and it's just grown organically. We have a good time when we come down, and it really is a beautiful swim. We swim under a couple of bridges. We stop on one of the main bridges usually, and everybody jumps onto the pylon, and we grab a picture and jump off and finish the swim. But with Rev 3 being gone, there's no athletic event that involves a swim downtown. So everybody that we've approached has been extremely helpful. And then with the unique feature of us having the boat, it's just made it unique. And so far, we've not really come into anything that was, a major roadblock. So hopefully that's the way it'll continue.
How many times a week do you guys swim? You said, is that just one time?
Yeah, we have once a week that we do the cow swim. Generally on Thursdays. This year we'll be starting at 5:30.
Gotcha.
We're trying to throw in a few more swims as Blake is learning to swim. We're embarking on some longer swims that are 2 to 3 miles, and just trying to grow that core to be a much larger group.
So is Blake the guy that hangs around afterwards and gets in a couple extra miles?
No.
Blake's the guy that we watch finish while we're sipping beers on the shore.
All right, so Robbie, any more questions about the open water, or are we going to go?
I could talk open water for a while.
Okay.
I do want to know, as far as, do you have any tips for people who are listening who might be scared or intimidated that they can't do something like this? Like, what can they do to prepare? Something that they can kind of take away and feel better and more confident and want to do something like this race.
Well, I think as far as the newer swimmers, we really kind of encourage them to start in the lake or at the quarry swims because the river is a little aggressive, especially if there's a current. And last year we left right around the time the riverboat was leaving, so there was kind of a safety concern there. So we do kind of push for that. We do like the stronger swimmers for the river swims, but we're hoping that as the group grows, we'll get those stronger swimmers and get everyone a little more confident in open water so that they're ready for these river swims so we can get our numbers up because there's always safety in numbers. Like they mentioned, there's only about 10 of us each week. Occasionally we'd had one or two swimmers that were a little bit weaker and we don't always have the kayak support. So it's kind of hard to keep everyone together when you're chasing people up and down the river, in that regard.
So you definitely recommend open water experience before taking something like this on?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Are you guys going up current too? Is it sort of like the Rev swim?
The race that we're hosting is actually, it's a downstream swim. So you'll jump off the boat and go down current. But our weekly swim that we swim a box shape that leaves from our dock, crosses the channel. Then you go downstream with the current, cross the channel again, and come back up. So you get a little equal mix of everything.
Is it pretty wicked, the current right now?
Well, today, yeah, we've yesterday when we swam, we were trying to dodge some storms, and then the skies just opened up, and it's just been raining nonstop since yesterday afternoon. So, yeah, we've got a pretty wicked current running in that river right now. But generally, it's a pretty good current. I wouldn't say that it's the same as like down in Chattanooga for the Ironman races that they have, but it's pretty comparable sometimes.
Brings back memories, Robbie. The rainy weekend at Rev.
It's always rainy in Knoxville whenever we visit. Do you have any contingency plans for bad weather?
We've got the cold weather plans, the warm water plans, the storms. I mean, everything, you name it. So it's all being reviewed right now for sanctioning purposes.
I do forget that September is such a anomaly as far as like the weather. It could be 40 or it could be 100, as we saw evident at Ironman Chattanooga last year when everybody wilted like a dead flower. Was that you with your little chuckle?
Yeah, it's pretty hot day.
You were actually at that race, correct?
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that experience. I mean, I was kind of getting a live feed of from Blake. Tell us a little about that experience, and then why everybody who quit and dropped out is a sissy.
I could not say that because I was so close myself. It was very hot. I mean, there's no way better to describe it. It was just extremely hot, and I've never seen so many people on the side of the road, just in the shade, under trees, ambulances up and down. It's like a war zone, just people all over the side of the road. So that was something I hope to not have to do again, but who knows what the weather may hold in store.
That's true. If I remember correctly, and this is coming from Blake, so it very well could be a total blatant lie. Yes, yeah, I caught a fish this big. So I think I recall that your electronic shifting basically had some kind of snafu with that. Is that accurate? Yeah,
it's very unfortunate. Just trying to drench myself in the water on the bike ride, just to cool off. And I guess the Di2 is not as waterproof as they advertise it. So it just shorted out, and halfway through the ride, I had no gears.
That's right.
Problem.
So tell me, because we get questions all the time about overcoming, bad luck in races, which I think we all kind of encounter some kind of bad luck at some point. Were you on the side of the road? Were you just stuck in a gear? How did that circumstance unravel? And then when did you ultimately make the decision that I'm not dropping out, I'm going to get back on and see what happens?
Well, I was stuck in the baby gear for a while and just spinning as I was going downhill. That doesn't help you much. So basically just everybody's passing me. And so I stopped a couple times trying to fix it, but electronic shifting, you can't really fix it on your own. After about 10 miles of just spinning, making very little progress, I just was kind of going to make the call, and then up drives the on-race bike mechanic, and he proceeds to take apart my entire bike and slowly got it working. It started working. I rode another couple miles. He was tailing me, and then it went out again, and he fixed it again, and it was kind of came to the point like, am I going to drop out? This is terrible. And he was literally had the radio in his hand and was saying, "Hey, I can make the call. You ready to drop out?" And I hesitated and ended up not dropping out, obviously, and just hopped on that bike. He fixed it for good, and I was stuck in one gear. He locked it out, and I just finished the ride with that one gear. The hills weren't fun.
Wow.
But
what gear was it? Do you remember?
It was. I just set it right in the middle. So
Yeah.
I mean, it was,
Safe.
easier gear going up, and couldn't really go terribly fast down. But I was at that point I was biking pretty angry. So
And as I look at it, you with all that stuff, you still rode a 553. Is that about right?
I guess I try not to think about it.
Sorry, man. Sorry for bringing that up, but I think it's pretty solid still. I was there, and Robbie, I remember you telling me about that, and I was kind of looking. You guys can see my video at some place, which is was retweeted by the Chattanooga Chamber of Commerce. So it's a pretty big deal. Pretty big deal for me.
Man.
Yeah.
Did you go to one of the luncheons or something and get somebody to post it?
I don't know how that happened, really. I might have begged for it, but I don't know. Maybe you're in that video, Jack. I don't know. So,
go ahead, Mike. I got a question, but I'll let you go.
No, you want to stay on Chattanooga? I was going to try and move ahead to Florida here.
Yeah, I wanted to ask him, because I've had people have, come somewhat of that same circumstance, but do you feel like you would have still ran as well or as angry had that not? Do you feel like, how did the race all play out for you? And you still finished extremely well, and obviously you're a pretty accomplished runner, so you ran well. How do you feel like that whole dynamic played within, how the rest of the race unfolded? Like the time on the side of the road, the spinning in the easier gear. What kind of effect do you feel like that had?
It's a tough call. I'll never truly know because sure I lost 40 minutes sitting on the side of the road, but then I was also resting for 40 minutes. So you could say it worked both ways. When I decided that I was going to just continue on with the race, I kind of had an idea of where I was. I knew the top guys were going to be 20, 30 minutes ahead of me, and I was just going to have to give it the run of my life. So I just kind of went all in, and if I died, I died. The goal was I could try to get it, and if I fail, well, I didn't have it anyway at this point. So, gave it the run of my life, and probably one of my fastest marathons at the time, and still missed the cut. But hey, I was pretty proud of myself for finishing. So
that's a pretty awesome story. So kudos for not dropping out and quitting. I think I probably would have called it in. But it's a good thing you didn't.
I don't know. Maybe not anymore. I think you would have went for it.
You think?
Yeah, now I do.
Yeah, that's true. I definitely used to would have just totally cashed it in.
Totally cashed it in, yeah. So, Jack, let's move on to Ironman Florida. That was a totally different story.
Yeah. Obviously, pretty bummed out after Chattanooga. Just wasn't the day I expected, and I still just had my one goal of Kona, and so a friend of mine who I'd been training with all year, he knew how bad I wanted it, and I was done. I was just like, well, that was my fate. I'm out. And he's like, I don't think so. And behind my back, he went and signed me up for Florida. And I was, still wasn't sure I was going to do it because it was only 5 weeks after Chattanooga.
I was going to say 5 weeks later, right?
Yeah. And body was still a little wrecked. But, I figured, hey, why not? Here we go. I'm entered. I've got the time off. I can do this. So coach kind of got me back on track. I kind of just trained on my own and down to Florida. And I guess long story short, got it done. Got my Kona slot.
Yes, you did.
So, is it a true story that you didn't tell anybody that you were actually going to race?
Yeah, I just kind of, because, those of us who have done Ironmans know it kind of wrecks your body quite a bit. And so I was feeling a little bit unsure if I would even be able to complete the race. And, there's always, mom in, your ear saying, you're destroying your body. You're wrecking yourself. So didn't want to just, didn't want to go out there and drop out and then just, have the whole, I told you so kind of thing. So I kind of just want to do it on the low. So if any of the, the worst happened, I'd just be like, it's no one will know but me. And it fortunately that didn't happen, and it turned out for the best.
Yeah, I would say there was 2,247 athletes, and you were first.
That turned out real well.
So I've got to say this, and you seem like the anti-triathlete, if I can be honest. Like you seem, you don't like talking about your accomplishments, obviously. You did an Ironman without basically telling everybody, because really that's what most people enjoy the most, is those 364 days before you actually get to do it. That's like it's like the I'm gonna race tour that starts a year before you race, and so you humbly still do very well at Chattanooga. And you're like, well, first off, I've got friends nice enough to fit the bill for $800 to get me signed for a race. Did you pay this person back, or was this with your own money?
I tried, and he just.
Does he have any openings? Does he have any open spots for friends? Because I mean, I could use a guy or a girl like that. I mean, all kidding aside, what was the experience like crossing that? I mean, crossing any finish line first is obviously got to be a great experience, but crossing that finish line was.
It reminded me. Which part of crossing the finish line? Tripping over the banner, or not realizing if I won or not? Because I still wasn't even sure if I won. Because I guess I didn't pay attention to the rules. I was just kind of winging it going into the whole thing. But because it was like it wasn't all a mass at once. It was kind of like it seemed like a time trial because it was a long strung out line. I thought that Tim Hola that I had passed just a mile before. I figured he might still be ahead of me because he might have started behind me. So, I wasn't sure why they were putting out the banner, but I just ran through it as fast as I could and didn't take any time to savor the moment because I didn't think I had actually won the race at that point.
Oh, yeah, I was going to ask about that because by these calculations, won by 42 seconds. And
right.
So it was a mass start? Or
it was. I guess they just said if you think you're going to be one of the faster folks, go up to the front, but your time's all the same. But I didn't catch that, and so I thought that I thought there was a mat, and whenever you cross the mat, your race started. So
okay.
I knew worse that maybe he had started way behind me.
At what point maybe did you think it was at the point when you thought maybe I'm going to win this? I mean, you obviously didn't have that in your mind earlier.
I never thought I would win it. I gunned for it, went for it. The volunteer that was biking with me when I was in second kind of made a comment that'll stick with me. He's like, hey, if you've ever wanted to win a triathlon or an Ironman, excuse me,
just a triathlon, yeah.
Now's your chance. I mean, this guy ahead of you, he's fading and you're looking pretty good. And so I just kind of said, well, why not?
Why not? Is there video of you tripping?
I don't know. I haven't found it. I don't want to find it.
Yeah, we can find it. Don't you worry.
Banner tape. Oh, goodness.
Man, I got to say, your humility makes you kind of a terrible interview for an Ironman champion.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. Kind of. So what is all, besides this awesome open water swim race in September that I could see at least myself doing as well if I can get back in swim shape, what does everybody else have on their calendar this year as far as any kind of race? I'll start with the ringer since she likes to chit chat.
I really don't. I am doing Swim the Suck in October, and then a week later I'm doing the Marine Corps Marathon because I'm an idiot.
Oh, God.
Wow.
I've never done either of these things, so.
And who told you that was a good idea?
Probably these two.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Well, good for you. Way to get out there.
Yeah,
who's gonna be your kayaker for Swim the Suck?
Probably my husband.
Nice.
We'll see if he can hang for 10 miles.
Should we interview you after Swim the Suck or the marathon? Like right after?
Yeah. Right after, yep. Either one. You can interview me twice. Just for you, I'll talk twice.
Okay.
All right, good. Well, I'm kayaking for Blake, so I'm going to warn you. If you do get in the way, I apologize. But
we'll just talk the whole time.
But it's business. We just have to kind of, take Blake on the shortest route.
Is Jack Swim the Suck?
No, he'll be busy.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He's got a Kona thing coming up.
He's got a little race.
Are you doing Kona?
That's correct.
Are you going to plan on winning that one?
Negative. That'll be for the experience, and family's coming out, so just an exciting time. Bucket list race.
All right.
I think you'd be bold-faced lying if you said you didn't have somewhat of an aspiration to be the first age grouper across the finish line, or first American age grouper across the finish line.
There's far too many talented guys out there for that to happen.
They're not. Well, you know what? They're not listening to this podcast. I tell you that. So you can say whatever you want.
Yeah, I'm not saying that. There's too many guys for that.
Blake, what about you?
I'm supposed to be pacing, quote unquote, pacing this dude at Leadville 100 for a few miles. So after that, just that and swim the suck. So somehow thought that'd be a good idea to attempt that. So we'll see how it goes.
Do you get to swim your own event?
That's been what we've been talking about and deciding upon.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. What are the current plans? I mean, I would think it'd be pretty cool if you got all three of you got to jump in the water last and swim your own event.
That's still up. We're going to swim it. Two of us might swim it the day before, so we can be on hand in case anything was to happen. Or if everything goes as planned, we'll all jump off the boat and swim the race. So I don't know. We'll see when it gets closer to time what we're going to do.
All right.
Wow.
All right.
It's pretty exciting. It's pretty intriguing. I'll tell you that much. Especially, 3 hours down the road.
Do you have a link that we can put in the show notes for our listeners and anything else?
Yeah, we have a Facebook page. It's the Bridges to Bluffs Open Water Facebook page. It's where we'll put up all of our information. We also have an Instagram account for the Knoxville water swimmers.
Oh,
that's probably all the ringer, isn't it?
Yep, that's all the ringer.
I bet there's some pretty pictures on there.
Well, I can tell you just from from my online training plan store, somebody's already planning on signing up. So you have at least one person guaranteed, because I had a open water swim package purchased like last week. So you're gonna have at least one person.
Yeah. Oh, you guys forgot to mention that too. If they're looking for training for a 10K swim, you guys wrote the plan for this.
Yes. Well, thankfully not you guys. Thankfully me. Wrote the plan. Yeah, we are offering anybody who. What's the deal we worked out? I know it was a pretty swank deal, but we worked out a deal for the first people to sign up and get a huge discount on 20 weeks swim
off. Half off. Right? Half off.
50% off for the first how many people?
However many people want to buy it, I guess.
Well, geez, that's awfully generous of me.
Yeah, we didn't really run that by me.
You wrote it. Why are you the one asking me that question?
Well, I mean, because I just told you to do whatever you guys needed. I'm just trying to help brother out. So we'll say first 50 for 50. We'll say the
50?
first. Yeah, the first 50 people that sign up get 50% off the plan.
Oh, okay.
Everybody after that is gonna pay full pop.
All right, 50 it is.
50 it is. You can find it in the online training store when you sign up and register for the Bridges to Bluff. What is it? Bridges to Bluff or Bridge to Bluff?
Bridges to Bluffs.
Bridges, yeah, multiple bridges to Bluff 10K. You'll get an option in there, and you can opt in. So I'm looking forward to it. Anything else?
It's pretty exciting. I really want to thank you guys for taking the initiative, because it's this kind of stuff that just doesn't happen without like some passionate people behind it. And the more of these kind of things, I think that's maybe the whole point of everything here, is that people just sort of took something and ran with it, and it became a cool event. And you just can't. You just can't. And they what'd they do to the shark?
They jumped the shark. They didn't flip the shark.
Flip the shark. They just flipped the shark on its ear and just said, we're going to have a swim.
Do sharks have ears?
I don't know. I feel like they do. They can hear.
How do you know that?
Well, I don't know. There's research, right?
You don't even know. That's a topic. That's a topic for that. We can do Blue Planet podcast number. Oh, this is. I probably should have done the intro. This is our 50th podcast, so you guys should feel somewhat privileged to be our podcast for its 50th episode as our special guests.
That's the 50% off.
There you go.
Oh.
Bam! 50 for 50. I love it.
We've got a
Now I see why they keep you around.
I'll send you a voice for that marketing tip.
I'm
Please
sorry
do.
you broke up there.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay, everybody. I appreciate you coming on here. We appreciate that.
Much so.
Yeah, and good luck, and we'll start sending all the dozens of listeners over there to sign up.
Yeah, send them our way. Thanks.
We will.
All right.
Send me whatever you got, and we'll put it in the show notes.
All right.
All right, man. Thanks, guys.
I'm going swimming.
Yeah. Have a good week, guys. Thanks for joining us.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.